A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us for the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. It's going to be the last one for the week. We'll see you again next week. So we're going to make tonight What's Your Wow. Of course, there's a lot to talk about in your amazing world of sports. The Nigeria Professional Football League. We take a look at the games to be played over the weekend. We'll travel to England at some point to talk about a game that a lot of people think will be or may be the title decider. That's Liverpool against Manchester City at Anfield. We'll talk about what's going on with Andre Onana. Of course, Andre Onana, Cameroon's goalkeeper, who also plays for Dutch side Ajax Amsterdam, has been banned for 12 months. We'll talk about all of that for you. That's the man in your picture. Biggest piece of news coming out of today. Andre Onana from Cameroon, banned for 12 months. We're going to talk. He has reacted. He's put out a statement. His club, Ajax, also say they will fight this. They will try to appeal this ban to see. Of course, if the ban stands, surely you can take it for granted that Andre Onana will not be at the next Cup of Nations. That's the implication of all of that. So that's the outlook of the show tonight. I just try to give you a quick rundown of what to expect on the show. I do expect that to be joined later on by Austin Okon-Akpan and, of course, Alfred Okoligbe as well to discuss all of these things that I've talked about. There's also the National Sports Festival in the news. We're going to talk about one of the states preparing for the games in spite of the uncertainty, a lot of things hanging over the sports festival. Some states still preparing to be part of it. Let's bring you into all that we're doing on the show tonight. It's very important to us that you speak to us on the show. You can get across to us, send us a message tonight at channelstv.com. Get across to us on Facebook, Channels-Sports, and on Twitter, our verified handle. We brag about it a lot because conversation never ends on that handle. Channels_sports. That's how you can get across to us. Let your views be known and speak up and be heard. We're global, we're international. We keep on telling you. So that's the outlook of the show. And we just jump straight into it. All right, so let me just quickly bring in my guys, my partners on the show tonight, so I can get their thoughts on some of the things I've already talked about. Let's go to London quickly and allow Austin Okon-Akpan pitch in. Greetings to you, Austin. Thanks for joining us tonight. There's a lot to talk about on the show, but first, I want to welcome you to the show tonight.
Sporty greetings, Yemi. It's good to be on the show. Shout out to all our viewers from all over the world. It's a beautiful world of sports, and I'm super excited to be on the show tonight to talk about everything that is going down.
All right, thank you, Austin. Let's go to our man, Alfred Okoligbe. Couldn't make it down to the studio, but of course, doesn't miss on the chance to be with us, to give us his input and insights, his depth of knowledge in the world of sports. Alfred Okoligbe, thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. It's a Friday, and the news we started with that of Onana, really sad news. But one thing is clear: the club has come out to really stand by him, and they've given explanations why. Eddie van der Sar, the managing director of Ajax, said they are going to appeal that sanction even to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So it's nice to see that this club, they are solidly behind him, and hopefully this unfortunate incident will just go past him. An exciting player, if you ask me, and Onana has really proved his mettle over and over again. But I'm really excited to be here, Yemi.
Thank you very much, Alfred. We'll get to talk about Andre Onana later on the show. But first, I want us to continue with our countdown to the National Sports Festival. And let's just tell you officially from where we stand, it's just 8 days to go. 8 days between today and the time the National Sports Festival is expected to start. 8 days to go. We started a countdown. We continue with it. And I always want to reiterate that from where we stand, unless we're told otherwise, the games will go ahead. All right. We've talked extensively yesterday about all the things happening behind the scenes. So I feel today we don't need to dwell on that. What will be news is if there's any form of communication that comes to us about whether we're going to have it or not. So we just leave it at that. But I want us to go to Ekiti State and take a look at how Ekiti State is preparing, and also listening to some stakeholders talk about what they're doing in Ekiti State. Then we'll come to talk about their preparation. We'll talk about Cross River State the other time. This time, the general manager of the Ekiti State Sports Council, Ayodeji Samo, claims that the state is preparing 120 athletes for the National Sports Festival. But of course, he admits that preparations have been hampered by the COVID-19 pandemic. The competition tagged Edo 2020 is scheduled to start on February 14th, Valentine's Day, and that's just about 8 days thereabout. All right, let's listen to Ayodeji, the general manager of the Ekiti State Sports Council, bear his mind on the preparation of the Ekiti State contingent. Then, of course, we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Initially, when we were about 2 to 3 days of going to the 28th National Sports Festival, we have to close shop, in the sense that we're in close camping. So we have to stop the camping, we have to tell the athletes to go back home. But right now, since the ban has been lifted, we are now training towards the 14th February date. Already some of our athletes have been tested and they tested negative. But right now, you can see that since the ban has been lifted, we are obeying all rules in order not to spread or in order not to be infected. You can see the athletes. So we have the individual games, we have the dual games, and we have the team games. It's only in football that we qualify for the National Sports Festival in the ball games. But in other games, we have 19 of those games.
To be honest, it has not been easy because of the regular changing of the dates here and there. So it's kind of making the training like there is some kind of inconsistency in the game. But then recently I've just decided that, okay, let me just say I am not training for the National Sports Festival. Let me just assume that I am just training for anything that might come up anytime soon. So it has been good recently since I decided I'm not training ahead of the National Festival. But if I just want to be like, okay, I'm training majorly for the sports festival, even with the fact that we don't know if the festival is really going to hold, because till now, with the situation of things in the country, the pandemic, and every other situations. So we are just still hoping that the festival will hold.
Well, we thank God for the training so far. We went for all-comers meet last weekend. So I will thank God for his support. So, and I can see that we athletes, so we are coming up. So ever since we came back last week, so we've jammed more into our trainings. And we hope something good will also come out at the National Sports Festival.
All right, a lot has been said. A lot has been said, so there's no reason to flog a dead horse. We all hope the National Sports Festival will be held at the dates that has been given. Let me go to Austin. You listen to Ekiti State, the athletes, and the critical stakeholders. I really don't envy them. It's, you're preparing, but you don't know what's going on. Much as I don't want us to dwell on whether or not it will hold, I really want to praise the athletes all across the nation for keeping, not dropping the ball and keeping their eyes on the prize.
It's very, very important, Yemi. But then again, we will talk about it. We'll ask questions. That's what we're paid to do. And that's our role as the media. So we will still question the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. So we're waiting for them to say something, make a statement, make a stance about the National Sports Festival. You listen to one of the Ekiti State athletes saying that she's not even preparing for the National Sports Festival, that she's preparing just to stay fit, just in case anything comes up. Now, that's not the mentality she needs when she wants to go to a big competition as the National Sports Festival. It's supposed to be a program that she's dedicated to soul, spirit, body, and mind, because that athlete can go on to represent Nigeria at a big stage. And we're not helping our psychology right now. So that's why 8 days to go and the ministry is not speaking. Somebody should talk to us. Someone should let us know what's going on with the National Sports Festival. But kudos to the athletes. They're beginning to, take their destinies into their hands. They need to keep fit. They need to, keep the right psychology going. But there's little as far as they can go. They also need to know where they're running to. They can't just be running aimlessly. So that's why somebody needs to speak to us so we know if this National Sports Festival will happen or not.
Okay. Also, let me go to Alfred. I mean, join us in this discussion, Alfred. I mean, I really don't want to dwell on some of those issues, but you keep coming back to it. Even the athletes, some of them try to say we're focused on our preparation, but one thing or the other just leads us back to, hey guys, what's happening? Are we having this or not? But then I always want to say I don't envy these athletes. It's a unique situation where you have to prepare, but yet you're not sure of what's happening all around you.
The National Sports Festival is originally, the date we were given tentatively to happen is next week. For now, I think what is fueling all of this uncertainty is the silence from all ends. The Edo State government have put their cards on the table. We don't have money. That's the issue that they raised. We don't have money to host the National Sports Festival. And what we hear is that the ministry is considering bailing them out and looking at the situation. The last time the minister is talking of making a representation to the president. So it is that state of uncertainty that is really the worry. Not that the event will hold or not. Because nobody seems to know the direction this whole thing is headed. I saw a news item online today saying that that the rumors are that the entire games is going to be moved, it's going to be scrapped, at least for now. And I mean, it doesn't send the right signal. That's why, like Austin said, when they run, where do they run to? When they prepare, what do they prepare for? As an athlete, your training has to be focused because you build up gradually to an event. And if you don't follow those steps, it becomes very difficult. So it's that state of uncertainty where nobody seems to be talking. That's really the biggest worry for me. And hopefully, they'll make a categorical statement, make a definite statement. Let's know where we're going. If it's holding, okay, it's going to hold. Yes, Edo State government does not have the funds to do this. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport is going to commit themselves to this extent. I mean, for in the interest of Nigerian youth and the rest of them, these games must hold. I mean, we know from that point to know where we're going. So for me, the biggest worry is nobody seems to be saying anything, and that's a big worry for me.
Okay, that's it. Let's just leave the little matter of the National Sports Festival and hoping that when we return next week, before then, we'll get the all clear sign and all will be well. Let's go to Kogi State and talk about the unpalatable story of unpaid wages, of salaries being held. All too familiar story. In Nigeria, when you talk club football, and this time Kogi United players staging a peaceful protest, but beneath that peaceful protest is a threat to boycott league games when it starts, because some of these players are being held salaries. Basically, they're demanding for unpaid sign-on fees for 2 years. That's the heart of the matter right now. And they staged the protest in front of the Kogi State Government House yesterday. These are pictures from that situation where the players let the world know what is currently going on. The players were hungry. A lot of them were hungry. They threatened to adopt other options. One of those options is to boycott the 2020-2021 Nigeria National League. That's the NLL. Like I said, all too familiar story. There's also, across board, you hear stories, unpalatable stories. The other time, some guys from Kora United were saying a couple of things, although sometimes you want to be careful to verify some of those things. So pictures don't lie. These guys took their protest to the State House and pleading that the governor does something for them. Let me go to Austin quickly. How does this make you feel? It doesn't make anybody feel good. A workman is due his wages. That's the popular saying. But you see these pictures and you just shake your head.
It's so sad. It's disheartening. And it tells the sorry state of our football, that we are still not addressing fundamental issues. Let me do a little bit of education to our viewers tonight. What's a sign-on fee? A sign-on fee is a fee paid to a player upon the transfer of that player from one club to another. So, this is basic payment. Basic. But you see, these players just have to go to these clubs with the hope that they'll get money because they need to play football. It's their passion. This is what feeds some of them and their families. And then they go to a club, the basic fee that you pay me for coming to the club, you've not paid. So it tells you that they're probably struggling with allowances, with wages, and a whole lot more. Some of the players have been reaching out to me just before they did this protest, and they said they've not even trained for the entire year. And Kogi United is supposed to play in the Nigeria National League. And we were talking about the major setback that fell on the Nigeria National League that it was postponed was because some of the clubs, in fact, they said out of the 40-something clubs, only one could register and they couldn't meet the financial requirements. So if Kogi United players are complaining about sign-on fees for 2 years, on what ground does Kogi have to present a team for the Nigeria National League? These are the issues. And I want to also join him to call on the governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Yahaya Bello. Remember, we spoke to him on one of our shows when we were in the heat of COVID. He said he wanted to use sports to bring the state together to encourage fitness. Governor Yahaya Bello, look at your football team. The players are not being paid. And they've come out on China's television. We're on international television with global standards. So people are watching and they're saying, why are we not addressing the basic problems? So if these players don't have sign-on fees, and they've not trained for the entire year, what sort of mentality are they taking to go and execute the Nigeria National League? And who are you to tell them that they need to gain promotion to go to the MPFL? A lot of issues.
A lot of issues. If you've not gotten your sign-on fees, issues about increments, wages, salaries, you won't even be able to talk about it. Let me go to Alfred. And like I said, all too familiar story. We probably have this. Probably have this kind of situation across board. But Alfred, I want to get your thoughts on this. They've staged their protests. I know those who have the power to turn things around are listening, and I hope that something is done. And if it gets to this, what can the stakeholders do so that things like this don't happen? I'm talking about, when I mean stakeholders, I mean the state owns the club. What can be done?
For me, football is a regulated sport in terms of people organizing it. Because what events like this does is that it brings the country not in very good light. And we know that there are several clubs, football clubs in the country who are also passing through this problem.
Yes.
Austin raised the issue of sign-on fee. I think in the LMC, in the Premier League, some time ago, they abolished that issue of sign-on fee. What they now did was enhance salary for players. So instead of paying bulk sum, telling the player that you're going to give him, for example, 10 million naira to come play for, as your sign-on fee to play for say Rangers or Enyimba, what they now did was to jack up the salaries so that it takes care of all of
Alfred, sorry, I had to butt in. Let me put you on hold. We need to go on a break. When we return from that break, I'll let you continue from where we left it off so that we can talk extensively about the plight of the players at Kogi United. We need to go on a break right about now. Come back for more on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. I'll quickly go back to Alfred. Alfred, I wanted to finish what you were saying to complete your train of thought and so that we can move on. We're talking about the plight of the players on the domestic scene. Kogi United just happens to be the one we're talking about tonight. I agree with you that this is probably happening in at many different places, but we're not talking about them tonight, maybe because the players have not staged a protest.
Like I said, it's a regulated industry in the sense that we have the Nigerian Football Federation that takes care of all of this. And the question you ask is, players have players union. We have ex-international. We have players union that are supposed to protect the interest of players. At the end of the day, what happens? These players, there was this issue of, and that was why one of the reasons given for the late starting of the league, club licensing procedures, where issues like taking care of players' remunerations will be taken care of. And we thought by now all of these kind of issues. See, there's nothing that says 20 clubs must play in the Premier League. Yes. Why not set the standards? The LMC come out, set the standards. It's okay, you know what? Remove all of the sentiment, the political consideration, or what have you. These are the rules. The rules are the rules. These are benchmarks for everybody to meet. Once you meet these rules, you can play football. If you don't, go to amateur football. We can organize 3-4 days football for you. You play and you go home. Because it's very embarrassing that you get to hear right from Premier League to even National League clubs, it is a recurring decimal. We hear it year in, year out. It has never changed. And the story still remains the same. If it is Kogi United today, tomorrow it will be another team. And it's the same story. We've been all signed off for 3 years. And we have not been paid for 7 months and the rest of the day. If we are not ready, we are not ready. So some of this has happened because we have not set the benchmark. We have not really come out to say these are the minimum requirements that we need to really play in this play in this fair. And I think until we do that, I don't think we'll stop hearing issues like this.
All right, want to join our voice with that of the players and plead with the governor of Kogi State, Governor Yaya Bello, and all those who are in charge of Kogi United to just take a look at the plight of these guys and do something about it. And hopefully when we talk about Kogi United, we're not going to see these disturbing pictures anymore. Guys, we need to move on now. We're pressed for time. So let's go on and talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League and discuss extensively the next match day night and see what's going to happen. Talk about games to look out for. Let's quickly take a look at the fixtures. Of course, interesting matches to be played across the country over the weekend. So let's see. I'll run through the fixtures, then I'll get the thoughts of Austin and Alfred. Pick of the pack, surely. Enyimba and Plateau United, Lockhorns, Rivers United, and Nasarawa United as well. These are matches to look forward to. Akwa United will take on Katsina United. Jigawa Golden Stars will be up against Adamawa United. Adamawa United seem to be donating points these days. We'll see whether there's going to be a change in fortunes for that. FC Ifeanyi will be up against Kano Pillars. MFM will be up against Heartland. Lobi Stars who will take on Wiki Tourists. Then you have Sunshine Stars who will play against Kwara United. All of this match day night fixtures. Dakada will be up against Abia Warriors. Rangers International will take on Warri Wolves. All right. Let me go to Austin quickly. Games to look forward to, what to expect. I know you've told me that you don't want to make predictions anymore because you don't want to miss them. I understand. So I want to ask you to do that tonight, but tell me what you think we should look forward to over the weekend.
We should look forward to good football. Each time we get away wins in the Nigeria Professional Football League, it's a sign that the next match day will give us some fireworks. Match day 8, we saw 2 away wins right there. Akwa United and Enyimba, going to Nasarawa United, as impressive as they have been in Lafia to win. That's really good for the league. So them taking that form to play Plateau United means we're going to see some good football. The People's Elephants, I've told you guys, from the start of the season, remember, I was telling everyone that Enyimba is not showing us that quality that we know them for. And remember when I predicted that they were going to lose to Kano Pillars at home, they watched and said, no way, Austin, you're not going to laugh at us. Right from that win over Kano Pillars, they've been on a cruise. fantastic for Eimba. No doubt they are on top of the league table, and I believe that they're going to give us a good game against Plateau United. Plateau United hasn't shown us the level of consistency that we should see from a team that's got the sort of quality that they have. After beating Nasarawa United to stop the unbeaten run, I thought they were going to put up a good fight in Nasarawa against Warri Wolves. They lost by a single goal. Let's see if they can, get back to winning ways against Eimba. It's going to be very, very difficult. Another good game that should get us talking is Rivers United and Nasarawa United. Both teams will be hurting from their match day 8 results. Rivers United left it late in Katsina. At the time they wanted to start fighting, it was too late. They lost that one 2-1. Nasarawa United lost at home to Eimba. They can't still understand what is happening to them. They were having a fine run this season. Plateau United stopped that run. Eimba went to Lafia to beat them, back-to-back defeats for Balani Q's team. So they would want to, come back. Let's see if Aqua United and Katsina United can consolidate on their match day 8 win. Aqua went away to win. Katsina United defeated
Rivers United.
Katsina United had a good one over Rivers United. Another good match, Yemi, or get us talking, is Sunshine Stars and Kwara United. Why do I say this? Both teams are on fire. They're playing so well. They're gaining some level of momentum. They've got good coaches. Abdullahi Bifo is turning things around right there in Kwara State. Our good friend Benga Ogumbote is creating magic with Sunshine Stars. Whoever thought that Sunshine Stars were giving us this sort of run with all of the problems that they had last season? But hey, that's football for you. So good games to look forward to. Match day 9 will definitely get us talking. Another testament that the Nigeria Professional Football League is back with some good quality.
All right, thank you very much, Austin. Let me go to Alfred. Give us a wrap, just like Austin did, a wrap, what to expect, and if you're bold enough, maybe a prediction. I don't know.
For me, I'm looking at the game on the Newe. FC Fanyoba just proved that, yes, they might not have recruited big like they do lately, and they have a bunch of youngsters, but these guys are full of steel. Against Heartland, when we thought they were going to capitulate, they came back with a point against Heartland. They'll be hosting Kano Pillars at the Ifeanyi Ubah International Stadium on Nnewi. That is one game I want to see. I want to see how Kano Pillars travel, especially travel to the east. Their last visit to Enyimba ended in a loss. This time around, I want to see how the legend of Kano, Rabi Ali, and his boys will fare in this one. Another game that holds so much is the game in Enugu. Rangers will host Warri Wolves. That game, each time Rangers plays Warri Wolves, the general manager of Rangers International is from Warri. David Snow. We have players like Ife Yahire who have played for Rangers in the past, now playing for Warri Wolves. Warri has found it difficult to pick points in Enugu. And with the likes of Christian Onaji, who scored a brace last week, a young player recruited from an amateur side to making his debut in Rangers, scoring the first goal he scored, the first match he scored a double. And so much will be resting on him. Nana Bonsu, we're told, lost the mother, so he will not be in goal. That much was confirmed by the coach after the last match, talking about Salisu Yusuf, that he will have to do with Femi Thomas. And so those two games in the Southeast are games that I really want to see.
All right. Thank you very much, Alfred. So we leave it there for now. Both of you shied away from predictions, but I understand. I'm not going to press you further. So let's move on, guys, and go to England and talk about the English Premier League. Of course, the big one this weekend is what everybody is talking about. But quickly, let's take a look at the fixtures, matches to be played Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday. Let's see quickly what to expect in the English Premier League. Aston Villa will take on Arsenal. Arsenal have a goalkeeping situation on their hand. Leno got sent off in the last game. The keeper, they got on transfer, not ready to play. The one that they have receiving a lot of criticism. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. Burnley will take on Brighton. Newcastle United will take on Southampton. Fulham will take on West Ham. These are the matches to be played tomorrow. On Sunday. Okay, still on Saturday, Manchester United will take on Everton. It doesn't get bigger than this. as well. We'll see what's going to happen. Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would square up against Carlo Ancelotti. Tottenham will take on West Brom, hoping to bounce back from back-to-back defeats. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on Leicester City. Liverpool will take on Manchester City. A lot of people are already saying this might be a title decider. I'm going to get the views of Austin and Alfred, especially on this one. Sheffield United will take on Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel appears to be steering Chelsea in a different direction from Frank Lampard, but I want to caution myself and say early days yet. All right. So Alfred first. Let's go to Alfred first. Alfred, do you agree with a lot of people who say that the game on Sunday might be a title decider, that if City wins, it's lights out, forget about everything, because that will open up a 10-point lead for City, and I think they still have a game in hand, I think. So do you agree, or you think even if Liverpool lose, there's still a lot to pray for?
Well, perhaps maybe not a title decider for me. I would think that that match, if it goes against Liverpool, might just put paid to their ambition of retaining the title. To just kiss the trophy goodbye. Manchester City are on a roll, but remember they have Manchester United on their heels. So perhaps the perspective might just be the title itself, but then maybe just reducing the numbers of teams going for that title. And when Pep Guardiola and his team get into the sort of form they are in presently, they will need some stopping. So, and for Liverpool, they seem to have found it difficult. But perhaps maybe their struggles are with the smaller teams, with the teams at the bottom, not with teams at the top.
Alfred, let me butt in quickly. If they lose this game, do you still see them as title contenders?
No. That would have their chances of winning the trophy would have just faded.
Okay.
Maybe a top four.
Okay. A quick one on Chelsea and Arsenal, quickly.
For Arsenal, they have a goalkeeper, but that goalkeeper now keeps for Aston Villa. That's goalkeeper Martinez. They had to make money off him. Now they have a crisis of a goalkeeper crisis in their midst. But you know what happens in situations like this? You might just give the person that you least trust even in goal the opportunity. I might just grab you with both hands and go on a roll. So it's not the situation for them is bad because they've now gone back to 10th where they've been for a while. All of the progress made, the last two negative results that they had in the league has kind of really set them back a bit. For Chelsea, it took that win that Chelsea got against Tottenham Hotspur was a very significant win because what he does is that he has boosted their confidence going forward. Perhaps the coach is now beginning to know the team better and work better with the team. And hopefully, this time around, it's Sheffield United we're talking about here, not Real Madrid, not Barcelona. Neither is it Manchester United or any other team. So just get the results and a routine win for them, and they just keep the pressure on the teams at the top.
Okay, all right. Good one, Alfred. Let me go to Austin. Austin, a lot of this is happening in your backyard, so you probably know some things we don't. But the big one, Liverpool, Manchester City, your thoughts, do you think is a title decider? And perhaps if Liverpool lose, do you still see them as contenders for the title?
Super Sunday before us, but no, I don't see it as a title decider. If you've been following the way the season has been going, it's still unpredictable. It will just be match day 22 for Manchester City. Liverpool will be going for their 23rd match of the season. If they lose it, yes, it will damage their mentality because they have a mentality problem, that club defined as mental fatigue. So if they lose this match against Manchester City, it will be the third defeat at home, back to back to back. And that would do a lot of damage to them. And it will be so good for Manchester City and their run. And what a story we're getting from Pep Guardiola. At a time when you think that because of his shortage of strikers, he's not going to be able to play football. We know the way they struggled when they started the season would you believe that Manchester City are on top of the table? So Super Sunday will do a lot to the Premier League, but it won't decide the title. I think if Manchester City wins, we might still see some shocking results. If Leicester City wins, it will also motivate them. If Manchester United wins, it will motivate them. So it's just Liverpool that is the problem, and they need to win that match to get their confidence back. They seem to be doing so well against the big teams. When they meet this, you remember, I think it was the match against West Brom that they played 1-1 at Anfield. It was from that match that I said Liverpool isn't ready because that record was getting into their brains, So now that the record is gone, they're still struggling at Anfield. So let's see what Super Sunday we give. It's going to be a big one, but I strongly believe he's not going to decide the title. Sunday also is a big test for Tottenham. They need to get back their confidence too. Let's see what they can do against West Brom. West Brom looking like they're down and out. They need to start getting those points, but I don't see it coming against Tottenham. But what do I know? Tottenham has also dropped points against smaller teams that you least expect them to. Chelsea, a big test for Tuchel because Sheffield United are on a roll. They're beginning to love the music that they're dancing to. So it's going to be a big test. So Tuchel not doing so badly. Back-to-back wins, Burnley and then Chelsea. They struggled against Wolves. That was his first match. It ended goalless, but in the last 2 games, he has shown that, yes, he can get some results of this team. Sheffield is a good test because they're the sort of team that can, stun you when you least expect. They've done it to Manchester United. They can carry that same vibe. To play Chelsea, Arsenal and Aston Villa, Arsenal need to win tomorrow. They need to win. And if they win, it's going to do a lot to 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th position on the league table. If they don't win that match, then the Gunners are in big trouble. Because if you look at Aston Villa, look at from Tottenham in 8th, Aston Villa in 9th, Arsenal in 10th, Leeds and Southampton. Those teams have been going up and down that region. If Southampton wins or Leeds wins or Aston Villa wins, then Arsenal would drop down on the league table. And they don't want that for themselves at this time. So that should also get us talking. I'm also looking forward to Manchester United and Everton. Right. Manchester United, they love what they did against Southampton. Win 9-0. Should be winning your next match in a big way also. So let's see what they will do. It's the English Premier League, and this season, if you look at the behavior of the league table, which has been the basis of my analysis, you will never say never. You can't say where the next match is going, where the next result is coming from. And that's the beauty of the English Premier League. Right. No big teams, no small teams. When teams need to win, they go all out to win.
Manchester United manager insisting that his players, he and his players will not get carried away. All right. Before we talk about Andre Onana, the little matter of the round of 16 game in the UEFA Champions League, Liverpool, RB Leipzig, no decision has been made yet. Because of COVID-19 issues, Liverpool may not be allowed into Germany to play that game. The guys at Leipzig don't know what's going to happen, whether they're going to play in a neutral venue. A lot of things surrounding that game. All right, let's go on and talk about Andre Onana. Alfred told us earlier his club behind him. They said they will appeal the ban. He got into trouble after a test was conducted and a banned substance was found in his system, and he has been suspended for 12 months by UEFA after he failed a doping test last October. The suspension is effective as of today, February 5, and it's going to be 12 months. And by implication, if he stands by implication, he will miss the African Cup of Nations. He will miss that. So we'll see what's going to happen. Onana put out a statement. Let's see if we can quickly read that statement. Then we allow the guys talk about it, that he informed everyone of what has happened and that the UEFA has put a ban on him. He said with immediate effect. He says as much as he agrees, he knows that they are doing their job, he does not agree with the decision that they have taken, and he wishes to appeal that ban. And of course, he has his club, Ajax Amsterdam, is solidly behind him. So his travail has begun. So we'll see what happens, whether or not they will be able to turn this around. So that's a statement from Andre Onana, and of course we'll see where it goes from here. Let me go to Austin quickly. Let me have your take on this one. What he said sounds like an excuse, but we've heard this kind of story before. I remember Kolo Toure, similar situation, and things like this do happen. You just do some things, you're not conscious of something, you do it, and you get into trouble. But the fact that the club is solidly behind him says something about the player.
That's right. He's a top professional. And that's why Ajax have said, look, whatever the case, we're going to, appeal this at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. I've been following on, and I think that he's one professional that young players in Africa can actually emulate. But Yemi, as you said, we've seen this sort of situation, and then we go, oh my goodness, why are you not responsible for what goes into your system? Because when I read this part of the story, I didn't like that part. I said unknowingly. You got to know you're a professional. So unknowingly, he took Lasimac, a drug that his wife had previously prescribed for.
Austin, sorry, I need to butt in. We need to go on a break. I'll allow you to finish what you're about to say. I'll allow you to educate us more on the Andre Onana situation and probably get Alfred's thought before we wrap things up. But we need to go on a break right about now. We'll return to talk extensively about Andre Onana and, of course, if we have time, the Australian Open. All right, that's it. So we're back to wrap things up on the show. But before we do that, we'll talk about Andre Onana and the impact of all of this, how it might affect Cameroon. All right, Austin, let me allow you to finish with what you were saying. We're pressed for time. That will be your parting shot on the show. The Andre Onana situation, and also factor in how all of this might affect Cameroon. Is also their first choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, hopefully he comes out of this clean, but there's no way this is not going to disturb him, and also his colleagues right there in Cameroon, and also Ajax. I love the way Ajax standing by this guy tells you that he's a top professional. Edwin van der Sar is taking it personal. He's been giving talks about it. He's been highlighting in the media. He's been explaining. But look, the European Football Association, they said, look, you are responsible for whatever enters your body. They agree that maybe you didn't know or you didn't take it to cheat, but as a top professional, even if you're taking a drug that will just cure headache or stomach pain, you should be careful that it doesn't, taint your integrity. So unfortunately, he has found himself in this. He's our African brother. We just hope that he gets out of it, and then we pray that he's clean, because if he's not, then he's got to face the music. And again, Yemi, it puts the education out there that we should keep educating athletes, we should keep educating our brothers and sisters on the continent that they need to stay clean at all times.
All right, so that's a good place to leave it. Austin Okonakwan, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Always nice having this ride with you. We'll do this again next week.
Always delights to be on the show. Yemi, thank you so much. We'll do it again next week.
All right, so that's our man, Austin Okonakwan, of course, giving us his insights into the amazing things happening in the world of sports. Before we go, I want to get Alfred's thought as we talk about Andre Onana. Your thoughts? It's not a situation that anybody likes, but then again, ignorance is not an excuse in the court of law.
That's exactly the point. The fact that they've looked at this and they've come out, and I like the place. I like where they said, okay, it might be that you are taking it by mistake, but like Austin said, he's responsible for what goes into it. But if you look at football, for a goalkeeper, what would have been the motivation into doping? What would it be? Is it to keep better or to endure? It's not an outfield player where it's okay for endurance and the rest of them. So perhaps from that extent, his excuse of ignorance might be taken. But I'm not preempting whatever it is that the Court of Arbitration for Sports will do. But this is just a warning to other athletes. And Ajax lately have been having some young African problems, promising players, young African players that have run into all sorts of problems. Promise, one of the Ajax youngsters, he might be going to jail for fighting, for stabbing, and the rest of them. Then in that same first team squad, now Onana. So it's a question of, hey, you just have to be a professional through and through and be responsible for what you do, because there are consequences for every action.
All right, I do agree with you. There are consequences for every action, and hopefully, this would, shed more picture. I mean, this will make things clearer to everybody that you have to be responsible for everything that you do. Ignorance, surely not an excuse. And I'm hoping he gets off the hook. I love to see him for Ajax. Love to see him for Cameroon. Alfred Okuligwe, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Always nice having you on the show.
Thank you very much, Yemi. A pleasure to be here.
All right, so that's it, Alfred, and thanks for joining us. Well, that of course the finish line on the show tonight. We do hope that it was worth your while. We'll be here again next week, taking you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. We plead with you, be safe, observe all the COVID-19 protocols, and enjoy your weekend. But we're back here again next week to do what we love doing best, which is talking sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye for now.